Warp Pipe Wednesday.
What's up, guys? Sorry, we missed the week of the Warp Pipe Wednesday. We can't always knock them out, but
Just like Taylor Swift, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
I mean, I'd say we are pretty ambitious for a podcast. A lot of the other podcasts I listen to or watch, like they're not, I would say, as frequent as us. We not only do the weekly Warp Pipe. It's in our name. I figured we got to put at least one episode out a week because it's called the Weekly Warp Pipe. But
Yeah.
we're doing 2 episodes a week with Warp Pipe Wednesday as like I figure it's an easier topic because it's just what do we do with no preparation. It's just
Yeah,
what is Russ doing, what is Jay doing, laid back, like bada bing bada boom. If
that's
we can
right.
get it out, cool.
What do we feel like talking about? We
Yeah.
never know.
Right. Off the cuff. And it's a little shorter too, instead of trying to get like the hour mark. I know people like longer podcasts usually. This one's a little shorter, whatever. Maybe you just want to see what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe you got a little half an hour trip in the car, perfect time for Warp Pipe Wednesday.
Yeah. So I've been streaming some horror games. I did start with this one here. I don't know if you ever seen this series here with Resident Evil. It's called Outbreak.
My Resident Evil knowledge, Russ, is pretty minimal.
Okay. I had picked, there's 2 of them. I picked both these up when I used to work at Retro Games Plus, as Resident Evil Outbreak and Outbreak File 2. What's unique about these games are if you had gotten them when they came out, you can see on the cover right here, online. You can play these online with other people if they had
Wow.
the game and you had the little modem thing to attach to your PS2. It's the way this game is, it's you're playing as um like civilians
Okay.
when the apocalypse when the zombie apocalypse outbreak, whatever you want to call it, happens in Raccoon City. Instead of playing as Leon or Jill or any of those, you get about 8 characters to choose from. There
Hmm.
is one that's a cop,
Okay.
but there's also a few like girls. There's a young girl. There's like a doctor who can do like more healing.
Hmm.
So you would get people to play with you online. Obviously you can't play online now, so it's just like the computers taking control
Yeah.
of the figures. And so I played it for 2 hours. I was kind of getting lost a little bit, and someone actually came into the stream and helped me out, and we made it through the first 2 scenarios.
Cool.
You do have to get past, like, it's got that tank controls from the first 3 Resident Evil games, so it's not quite as smooth. When I say tank controls, it's like I don't the way the character turns and moves, it's like
Very Army Tank-esque.
yeah, it's like awkward. So it takes a little bit of getting used to that. But I've never played them, so I thought it'd be cool to kind of dive into that. And then I did do a poll on my YouTube channel to see which game I should play next. So I stuck with PlayStation, and the one that ended up winning, we got Dino Crisis on the
Cool.
original PlayStation. Which is funny is this came included with a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis demo disc.
That's funny.
Um, so if you were into Resident Evil and you wanted that preview, you're like, you know what? I'll pick up Dino Crisis. Plays similar to a Resident Evil. Controls kind of look wise, but you got dinosaurs instead of zombies.
Gotcha.
And they have some pretty unique things that have it, set itself apart from Resident Evil series. And again, I played 2 hours of this. What sucks is I kept my PS2 here since previous week we were doing a PS2 game. I was like, oh well, PS2 plays PS1. I'll just leave it here instead of digging
Backwards
out.
compatibility.
Right, digging it out. Then I went to go save it, and I'm like, oh, I can't save because I don't have a PS1 memory card.
Oh,
And so that progress was lost.
dang it. What do you think about the game?
It was pretty interesting. I played an easy mode. There were kind of some jump scares with the dinosaurs coming out. I was a little confused on how certain things worked, and I looked up a few things here and there. And the way I described it in the live stream, I was telling people, I was like, the way I got to look at it is like maybe you rented this game back in the day and you would have it for those 3 days, right? I'm only playing it for 2 hours. That's a short time to really judge the game on like in its full,
Right.
like is it bad or whatever. And people, complain about tank controls. I'm like, if you're playing this for 3 days and that's all you're playing, you get used to the controls. I promise. It should. They looked up. It was about 6.5 hour full playthrough. It's
Okay, that's not bad.
10 hours for like 100%. So if I had a guide, or if I'm just now like looking online through a guide and playing it, I'd sit through and play it for a weekend.
There you
Um,
go.
I think it's pretty neat. I was gonna do a short video. I was looking through the manual and I thought this was hilarious. And I was like, this is cool. I don't know how many people know this, but again, it shows you get the Resident Evil 3 Nemesis demo right there on the front cover. Freaking camera focus. And then you open it up and they have a coupon to save $5 off your purchase of Resident Evil Nemesis, and it's a $5 bill with the Nemesis on it.
That's cool.
I was like, "That's pretty neat. I wonder who cut theirs out and used it back in the day.
I know.
Can I bring this to the video game cavern and cash it in?"
Probably not. You have to talk to Andy about that.
So, those are the 2 horror games I've been playing. I think we decided for next week, I'm gonna do Castlevania 3 on
Cool.
NES. 'Cause
Cool.
I'll only get a few more, so I was like, "I've done 2 PlayStation games, so let's jump to some NES."
NES is the best. So says NES Addict.
There we go.
Um, I've been playing, Metroid Dread again. I don't know what prompted me to pick that up a couple weeks ago, like maybe a week and a half ago. But I've been playing through it. I might be 25, 30, 40% of the way through. Probably not even half, but, been enjoying it, and I've been playing it on the Switch Lite so I can play it in bed,
Nice.
and, I got this little handy dandy thing on it, so it kinda makes it a little more
Oh, yeah.
ergonomically to hold since it's so tiny. One thing I don't like is I wish I could use the D-pad to control Samus, but it's all this.
It's
So,
all analog, yeah.
yeah, so we'll see, how challenging it gets to do, like, Shine Sparks and whatever it's called on there. I don't remember exact terminology. Um, but yeah, I hadn't played through it in a couple of years, and I just remember really enjoying it, and it almost kinda gave me, like, Super Metroid vibes when I played it through the first time. I was like, "Oh, this is maybe how people felt the first time they played Super Metroid." So it was kind of cool to experience that. That's the only Metroid game I've ever experienced as it was released. Everything else I played
Oh, yeah,
years
like
and
as
years
new.
later. Yeah, as a
Gotcha.
new game. So late
Yeah,
to the Metroid party, but
I would love to definitely go back and play through that again, so we'll see if I have time with the backlog of games and stuff, but I
yeah,
enjoyed it.
it's a lot of backtracking back and forth, and so, that's kinda tough, but I guess it's all Metroidvania games. But yeah, the game room is still in disarray, even though it looks nice from your vantage point ish.
Oh, I do like the Castle Grayskull back there.
Yeah, yeah, Castle Grayskull's hanging out back there. I got Rob, I got a little mini Pac-Man, there's ET hanging out, so, it's still fun to look at. A He-Man wind socket that I found at a yard sale in
Oh, that's what that
Cincinnati.
is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hang on if I can get you. You can't really see it any better, but
Yeah, it's like a little yellow.
it's kinda cool. Um, but yeah, so that's what I've been playing, and really that's it. I would like to get back on the old NES and play some more, Nightmare on Elm Street because I was really pushing to try to get through that, but, I'm using my NES, top loader back there just because, it's easier to get to, but it won't hook up to this TV that I wanna keep. This TV has a built-in DVD player, which I really like,
Mm,
but, there's nowhere to hook an axial cable up. Oh, no, that's not the truth. The truth is I don't have the remote for it, and when you do channel up, channel down, I can't get it to channel 3 or 4. It stays on 2
uh-huh,
or DVD, and I guess without the remote, I can't do it. So, unless I can find one on eBay, I'm kinda stuck on 1 channel, which sucks. But I wanted to keep it because of the DVD player. But anyway, so I eventually wanna get back on Nightmare on Elm Street and try to get good enough to beat that 'cause
nice.
it's actually a really good game. Have you played much of that?
Yeah, I played some good amount of hours into it. We did do a fun, playthrough years ago, um, back when I went to Portland, Oregon for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, which was this past weekend, and my friend George and his brother from New Mexico flew out to meet our buddy, the Nintendo doctor, and we did a let's play because we had the four score. So we
Yeah,
did four players,
nice.
Freddy, and we actually didn't know I could bring up like the game. I said have the gameplay footage somewhere on my channel, and we had gotten stuck in a pit and we couldn't get out, and we like couldn't figure it out. We ended up shutting it off, and then we played another game, and then a light went off in my head, and I was like, "Oh, I bet you this is." And on the four score, they have an option to put turbo on,
Oh,
and we had turbo on, so that was making us not able to jump as high in Freddy.
oh, so
So
you
we
couldn't
would have
get out
been
because of that.
yeah, so we maybe played 15 minutes as 4 players,
Oh,
but I'd like to go back, yeah, and try to get a little further in the game.
yeah, I don't know why it gets so much hate. I think it's quite good, especially for an LJN game. It's really good. So, if you haven't played Nightmare on Elm Street for the NES, go play it.
I did, pick this bad boy up right here as well. This way.
Ooh,
We got
Echoes of Wisdom.
the new Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. Picked it up at Target, and the guy just threw in this little, puzzle or something.
Cool.
Zelda, yeah, mystery puzzle. So I think it was a pre-order thing, but
Yeah,
he had so many, he just like threw it in. Still sealed. I haven't gotten to open it up and find the time to play it, but I charged my Switch. So once I get the time, I'll be able to
there you go.
get into it and see how fun it is.
Yeah. Well, Russ, I don't know if you're aware of the current events, but a huge hurricane just came through my area.
Yeah, I've seen so much stuff. I'm like, I wonder how Jay's holding up with it's like decimating so many places. I'm like,
It's
good God.
so I've lived here twice, but since I've my longest stint was 88 to current time. So I've lived here many, many years. Uh I was actually here when Hugo came through and Katrina and everything else. So the standard hurricane like weather in Greenville is by the time the storm hits us, it's like a tropical storm. You're getting a little bit of wind, you're getting some rain, but maybe a little bit of flooding here and there, but nothing so threatening. So when they're
Hmm.
like, "Hey, we're gonna have a bad weather day, Friday, be prepared."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, go get your milk and your bread
Right,
and
right,
get
right.
ready for a light rain because that's what's gonna happen." And I think that the problem was so many of us in this area probably just underestimated this storm from years and years of it never becoming a major threat.
Right. Almost like a boy who cried wolf.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. Like this is the boy that cried wolf. We've never had to worry about it. We're not going to worry about it this time. And and it came through, and I the power went off about 5:30 a.m. at my house,
Okay.
and my wife still got up, still got coffee, still drove to work in this madness. And I was kind of upset that she did that because I'm like, your boss really needs to call off. Shortly after she got there, it called off. But I'm watching out the window, just kind of watching this wind, and I start seeing trees fall in my neighbor's yard.
Oof.
And I was like, oh my God, I've never actually seen a tree fall like right in front of me. And it's about 6:30. The sun is starting to come through the clouds a little bit, so it doesn't really look like daytime, but it just looks like it's just brighter. Does that make sense? It's still gloomy out and dark, but
Okay.
you can
So
see.
so maybe in the eye of the storm?
No, I'm
Or
not
is it
saying
the
it's the
sun?
eye of the storm. I'm just saying it was pre-sunrise about 5:30, and now it's like
Mhm.
sun rising.
Okay.
So you're it's like you can still see, but it's maybe not ideal it's not like a sunny day or anything. It's still gloomy and dark and windy and rainy. And my wife gets back and I was like, "Oh man, like you drove in like the worst part of this so far. Like the wind is like destroying our house, like just noise wise. I can hear like my sodding moving around and things hitting and all this. I can see sticks down in the backyard, and I've already seen the one tree fall. So we see my neighbor out with his rain jacket on and he's wearing a headlamp and he's just kind of checking out the damage. And like I'm gonna go over there and talk to him real quick, and just because I was probably
Be
being
neighborly.
stupid. I was being neighborly and also riding the adrenaline rush of being out in the storm or whatever. So I go over, and my neighbor's out there, and he turns around and sees me and starts walking towards me. I kid you not, Russ. Right when he started walking towards me, he just moved out of the way of a tree that fell right where he was standing. And he turned around. He's like, "Oh my god, dude!" He goes, "If you wouldn't have been there, He's like, "The only reason I turned to walk this way is because I saw you." He goes, "I would
Yeah.
have stayed right there, and that tree would have hit me if you wouldn't have been out here." So I indirectly saved my neighbor by just forcing him to walk over. So I was glad I walked out. So I was actually going to walk the neighborhood at this time and just kind of see what was going
Assess the
on.
damage.
Yeah, start and my wife had already told me, she's like, only go out there for a few minutes, come right back. Don't She's like, don't go through the neighborhood. She's like, if we can see what happened when this is all over, there's no reason to put your life at risk. So the adrenaline junkie in me is like, I'm gonna ignore her advice. I'm gonna walk down the street anyway. And right as I'm walking down the street, there's like a what I think they call a microburst, and this
Okay.
huge gust of wind came through, and like everything starts blowing crazy. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I need to not be stupid. Like, I can check all this out later. I don't need to be nosy right now. I can look at this later. And I went home, luckily, thankfully. But all that to say, our neighborhood, my house personally was, just some sticks down in the backyard. We got lucky. We didn't lose any of our big trees. My house wasn't damaged, but there was some, except for maybe some shingle issues. But so many trees in our neighborhood were knocked down, and I think it was like this perfect storm of like days and days of rain
So the
leading up to this, and then that
right.
60, 70-mile-per-hour wind came in right at the end after
Mhm.
the ground was so saturated, and those
Right.
huge trees just fell over like dominoes. So there has been nothing but cleanup for the last couple days, and I was lucky. My power went out at 5:30. It came back on at 12:59, so it was like out less than 8 hours. I had a friend who lives in the back part of the neighborhood. This neighborhood is separated into 2 power companies, and the back part of the neighborhood just got power yesterday, so they've been without power since Friday morning. And today
Man,
is what, Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
So they got it Wednesday night, so they were just, I mean, that's a long time
Jeez.
not to have
Yeah.
power. So food's going bad, their air conditioner's not working, all the comforts of life, it's first world problem, right?
Right, right.
But all that to say, South Carolina was pretty lucky. The people I feel the worst for is the folks of Asheville. Those poor people in Asheville, I don't think anybody could have predicted what happened to them. They're basically cut off from the rest of the world. All the bridges are gone. Uh, the town is still underwater. I mean, there are people dying left and right. And all this to say, um, if there's anything you can do to help the people in Asheville, please do. Because I mean, and I'm sure there's other people that need help too, but I just think they got the worst of it. I don't think there was any way to predict what happened to Asheville, but um, it's a very unfortunate event. But man, I will never ever underestimate a hurricane because I'm always like, I don't live on the coast. I don't really have to worry
Right.
about this.
Right. That a lot of people have brought that up where they're like, "Oh, if you think just because you don't live on the coast, you won't get hit." And they had brought that up where I don't know the statistics, but they're like, Ashford is nowhere near the coastline and they're like high up on above sea level,
Yeah,
yet got decimated in all this rain that came down.
yeah,
Yeah, said still flooded.
it's just awful. I mean, I've seen videos on TikTok and what these people are going through. I can't even imagine it. They need help, like so much help. I'm just like, man, like we just need like a ton of sunny days to help evaporate this water and dry it up as quick as possible because it's gonna take years to rebuild that. Like that whole like there's a place called Chimney Rock that I used to visit with my mom when I
Mhm.
was growing up. It is gone. It's not even there anymore. Like the whole town is just gone. Like North Carolina got wrecked. So yeah, I mean it was crazy. I feel so sorry if you live in North Carolina, or I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. And Godspeed. Hope you get the
Absolutely.
help you need.
I know it. So all we could do is pray and hopefully things move quickly and they could get back on their feet
Yeah.
and get
Yeah,
what they
send
need.
send them some money or send them some supplies, or if you're a local, volunteer if you have the means, and those people just need it right now real bad, so
Absolutely. I don't know any transition to that,
yeah, there's no
unfortunately.
great transition, but I feel like it needed to be spoken about, so
Absolutely. I mean, that's what's going on. That's the update of what's happening with
yeah,
me and Jay for sure.
yep,
Um, and I'd say on other news, I guess on the upside, this coming weekend, I will be going traveling to Syracuse, New York, for Retro Game Con as a convention. I'll be a guest at the convention. I know John Riggs is coming, so I'll be meeting up with him. My buddy Tom Ryan will be there selling stuff. I think we're going to be next to each other. So I'm going to bring a couple custom controllers and paintings that I have left over from Retro World, be selling that stuff. And I think I'm on a panel with John Riggs and two other YouTubers Saturday night.
cool.
And yeah, we're going up there. Me and the wife know Gwen, so it'll be a little weekend getaway with the wife. She's off work this week, so we'll actually be able to spend some time together. And yeah, we're still trying to get into the house.
Yeah, how's that
Uh,
going?
slow going. Unfortunately, because it's waiting on a lot of electricians come, and they might
Right,
come this
a lot of
week,
moving parts.
and then we got a sheetrock and da, da, da. So I put up the latest video. If you guys want to check that out on my YouTube channel, it's part two of building the game room. So I show off us putting the flooring in, getting the paint, the trim, and everything in there. We bring up the first like two items, a couch and one of the arcade machines.
Cool.
Um, so it's the first room that's kind of finished in the house. So we're going to be bringing a lot of stuff in there just to get it out of the way,
Right.
and then we'll be able to go from there.
Any bites on the condos?
Interesting. See, we'll see what happens with this now. So we did sell it, the
Ooh,
first condo,
nice.
and their closing was supposed to be Tuesday,
Okay.
but we didn't get all the paperwork from the lawyers and this and that, and they were messaging Steph, and they were asking questions about the the opening we had that
Yes,
was there that we sealed, and they want to know
yes.
like what materials we use. And her dad was like, like fireproof insulation, fireproof sheetrock, like
Right.
this stuff I got. And they want to see the other unit on Saturday, so Steph has to meet them Saturday there to maybe buy it. I don't
Oh
know,
my god,
or
so maybe you sealed it up for no reason?
maybe like we're hoping on that. I hoping like they don't want to back out because it was like, or if they want to be like, oh, did you get the right permits for this? Like we don't
R
want to buy it because
r
you didn't.
right,
So it could go either way. Like I don't know, or they just want to
right.
check if we did good work or shoddy work.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's gonna show. We got to clean up the second unit quickly tomorrow, just so we can when we show them, it's not like crap everywhere because we're still
Right,
kind of finishing it.
right.
So I'll update you guys next week if that went
Wow.
through, because
What a interesting development.
hopefully, I mean, we're banking on obviously that first unit going through, so we can use that money to go towards the house,
Yes.
and we need to pay the mortgages because we're paying three
Yes.
mortgages. So it's
Yes,
like,
holy moly.
aha. So
Jeez Louise.
stress on that. So fingers crossed all of that works out, and we can continue on.
Yeah. Well, my hope is that they want both of them, and then
Right.
you're just done with it, and you can move on with that, and all's good.
So fingers crossed. We'll see. Keep you guys updated. Other than that, I'm hopefully we'll see. I'm a little bit crazy here. I'm trying to work on every year. I try to enter the
The
contest that Two Roads puts out, the little
Yep.
short horror film, and I was like checking, and it's due this Monday
Oh,
coming up,
wow. Holy moly.
and so I have to submit it by midnight. Um, I have the stuff ready. I was writing the script now, but it's just like timing when I can film like
Yeah.
is very short. So we may film it, edit it, and submit it all Monday. I'm unsure. I'm hoping I can get it done. If I can't get it done for the timeline, I'll still complete it and then just put it into my Halloween special
Gotcha.
as like a short there.
Are you
Which
using any of the houses?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to use because the run of it. So I'll give you guys the little heads up in it.
Ooh,
It's
little
gonna be
tidbit.
a silent film
Ooh.
in like black and white with like, I'll be speaking and then the text will come on screen and it's going to be like this mad scientist is mixing stuff. So I thought I can just use the demolished kitchen as like a rundown looking scene.
Yes.
So I wrote the scenes. Hopefully, me and my friend could just film it quickly, and I think it'd be kind of unique and stand out
Cool.
amongst the crowd. So we'll see.
Fingers crossed, Russ.
That's it. So that's kind of what's happening on with Russ and Jay this week. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the weather. You guys are in good company and maybe have some autumn plans to, I don't know, go apple picking.
I needed to get cool down here. It doesn't feel like fall at all. It's like 81 degrees. It's like,
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, think it was probably in the 70s today, and wore a
yeah,
hoodie. So,
no bueno. Like, I mean, like, I remember in the early 2000s, like late September, you were like putting a jacket on. It was cold,
oh
like, or
right,
cool.
yeah.
So, yeah, don't know.
Who knows? Well, we appreciate you guys jumping in the warp pipe with us, as always. And we'll see you guys on the next level.